Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Wood, touchdown! LA! Dog goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge. And Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Weddle got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did!
Racing down the sideline is Akeem Talib. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to Breeze. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
Welcome back, guys, to episode 202 of the Downtown Rams podcast. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me, as always, is Alexis Kraft, and this is another draft season podcast. We're going to have a bunch of them. We have a lot of interviews to get out. We don't have a lot of time because the draft is rolling around. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 201 and, of course, the 200th episode. If you haven't already, be sure to check those out as well. Without further ado, though, we have 3 interviews today. It's the trifecta. We have Florida International wide receiver C.J. Worton coming on. He's the little brother of J.J. Worton, former Ram, so definitely excited to show you that. We also have Murray State defensive back Marquez Sanford, as well as Arizona Christian wide receiver J.J. Johnson. So we hope you guys enjoy, and of course, as always, if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. So now, it's time for you to enjoy this show. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll talk soon. All right, guys, joining us on the show, Florida International wide receiver C.J. Worton. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me. It's going real well.
Awesome. It's good to hear. And just to start it off, we just kind of want to learn a little bit about how did you get into the game of football? You know, how old were you? And was there a certain person that got you into the sport, or did you just kind of pick it up yourself?
I mean, I couldn't really give you an age when I got into it. My family has always played football. I think I was maybe 4 or 5 years old when my dad took me to my first Miami Dolphin game here in Miami. So it's always been, something that I've done, and both of my older brothers have played football. So it's, I couldn't give you an age where I started.
No worries, man. Kind of growing up, could you give us a favorite, NFL player, if there is one?
Oh, I think Chris Chambers might have been my favorite NFL receiver watching growing up, just because, he played for the Dolphins. So I got to watch a lot of him, but a guy that I really appreciated that was really underrated was Devon Best. He played for the Dolphins as well, but I think his game was really underrated, and I think I molded myself a lot off of his game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you played obviously football growing up, and then it came time for you to play in college, and you started your career off at Florida before transferring to Florida International. What was the main factor for you in choosing Florida International as your school to transfer to?
Yeah, well, they were doing really good things with the program, and I was fortunate enough to know some guys that played for Florida International at the time. And when I announced that I was transferring, they reached out to me, and I got in contact with Coach Davis, and his reputation alone speaks for itself. So I think just all in all, the addition of, having Coach Davis plus being able to be back home with my family and have a good support system, it just made it the right decision for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And, obviously, you had that college career. What was your favorite memory or maybe even a play or even a specific game from your college?
Oh, man. There's a lot of memories going through my head right now. I think the most memorable plays of my career was in the SEC championship when I was playing for Florida against Alabama, when I scored it was like a 50-yard touchdown towards the end of the game against their top defenders, like Minka Fitzpatrick and Cyrus Jones and guys like that.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. That sounds like a really awesome memory and something that you'll certainly remember forever. But, what would you consider your biggest strength as a player to be?
My biggest strength, I think, would honestly be my knowledge. Like, I've been around football for so long. I understand situations. I'm able to, I've been, it's unfortunate, but it's also really fortunate for me that I've been in 3 different offenses since I've been in college. And so, I've been in different systems and learned different systems. So, a really good thing that I think I do is I'm able to pick up on offenses and, understand what defenses are trying to do and, how to beat them or understanding disguises and stuff like that. So I really like to credit myself a lot to my knowledge of the game.
Yeah, of course. And kind of doubling back over, when you said your favorite memory, with Minka Fitzpatrick and Cyrus Jones, might be the same answer to this question, but who's the toughest player you went up against in college?
Ooh, the toughest player? I would say the guys that I went against in practice at the University of Florida. I mean, we had some real battles. Quincy Wilson and Jalen Tabor. We all went into Florida the same year, so we have been battling it out for 2-3 years. Those are definitely some of the the top tier guys that I went against.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the NFL draft approaches, is there anything that you're looking to improve on?
Yeah. So I mean, I got a couple of scouting reports back, and I guess one of the biggest things that some NFL teams wanted to know about me was my top end speed. That was kind of like a question mark for them. So I think I really did well at my pro day when I was able to run the 4.3 and the 40. So I think I checked that box, and I think that was one of the biggest question marks because everything I've heard is I have really good instincts, really good routes, really good hands. They just want to know, could I be that vertical threat? And I think I checked that box also.
Yeah, and just kind of doubling on that pro day you mentioned. How was the pro day overall? Like, what was the whole experience like, be able to do that in front of all those scouts and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible experience being able to, showcase your abilities in front of scouts from every team. You really can't prepare enough for it. We spent probably 3 months getting ready for it and stuff like that, but there's no same intensity level and the way the emotions are just running your adrenaline. Nothing, you can't prepare for that. So I think the most fun part about it was being able to just be in that moment.
Yeah, definitely. And, what is one thing that you bring to the table that no other wide receiver brings in this draft?
I think my knowledge of the game, it really separates myself from a lot of other guys. My ability to know what defenses are trying to do and know the right spots to be in. And, my ability to catch the ball, make those catches that a lot of people can't do. I think that's one thing that I do really, really well.
Yeah, this is kind of like a fun question here. We always ask receivers, and, Randy Moss is one of the greatest receivers ever. And, his last name is literally a verb. Like, you just got mossed type of thing.
Exactly.
So, so I want to ask you, which cornerback that you most want to moss at the next level?
Oh, that I most want to moss at the next level. I to be honest, I just want to go in and be as productive as possible, and anybody who lines up in front of me is ultimately just going to have to get mossed. So I don't think there's just one person specifically. I think that might have to make like a whole checklist.
Oh.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to being able to play against some of the guys that I've built bonds with between the University of Florida, FIU, and even a couple guys from UM.
Yeah, and if you had to pick one quarterback to catch a touchdown pass from in the NFL, who would that be?
I think right now I would have to say Tom Brady, just because of his legacy and everything, that he represents to football right now. Like, I mean, he's the GOAT. Like there's no other way around it. So I think being able to catch a pass from him would be insane.
Yeah, no, that would be something else. I mean, it's certainly possible. You're looking at the NFL, and I mean, there are a lot of teams out there, and the Patriots. I mean, they bring in everybody. I've never seen a team that will go from trading a first rounder for Brandon Cooks to then getting rid of Brandon Cooks and replacing him with someone in the draft. So you never know,
absolutely.
but. But with that being said, we are a Rams-based podcast, so the Patriots are a sore subject. I'm just kidding. But
I understand. Trust me, I have a lot of love for the Rams. My brother actually played for the Rams 2 years ago. He was with the Rams organization for the season. So I have a lot of love for the Rams.
Oh, that's your brother JJ?
Yeah, JJ. He played for the Rams. He actually coming out of college, did his rehab with Todd Gurley for their ACLs when they were both hurt. So he had a really good connection with Todd, and just I love everything about the Rams organization, especially with Todd being out there and being a good family friend.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I do remember JJ, and it was funny. Like while you were saying, I was kind of putting the pieces together. I was like, oh, that's right, Worton. Like, but. With that being said, being a Rams-based podcast, I have to ask you, have you met with the Los Angeles Rams yet, or have they spoken with you at all?
No, I have not. I have not spoken with them. My agent, Zach Gottfried, has been talking to a lot of different teams. He talked to a bunch of different teams at the scouting combine. The Rams, I think, were one of the teams that he spoke with briefly for a little while. But there hasn't been really any extensive talk between me and the Rams.
Well, we, certainly would hope that, you could end up a Los Angeles Ram. But even if you don't, we're fans of you, and we've heard a lot of great things about you and seen a lot of great things that you've done as well. So we're going to be fans of you no matter where you go. And, we certainly like to hear that you have love for the Rams, and we've got that cool connection there. Because it's funny, because as Jake said when you were talking, I was kind of like wondering maybe if there was a connection there with you and JJ. So it's cool to hear that there is for sure. But yeah, and just to wrap it up, in your own words, who is CJ Worton the player, and who is he as a person?
I mean, I think as a person and as a player, I'm really the same person. I'm a person who's going to come in and work really hard and, try to fulfill a dream that I've been chasing for my entire life. And off the field, I understand that there's a lot of other people that, have dreams and they aren't in positions to necessarily, achieve them. So, I mean, off the field, I'm a really charitable guy. I feel like a strong Christian. I bring that to the field as well. I wouldn't be anywhere I am without, my strength in God and, just following my faith. So I think on the field and off the field, I'm the same person. I don't flip a switch. I try to have fun every day, on and off the field. So, there's not any character change or anything like that for me.
Hey man, that's exactly what we like to hear. Really been, I think it's been a blast interviewing you. I think it's really cool. Obviously it took me a little bit to realize it as you were talking about, but it's really cool that you and JJ are related. I do remember when JJ was a Ram, and, I think it's really cool, your story, coming from Florida, and you have those experiences against, the Micah Fitzpatricks of the world. And, you did your thing over at FIU, and, we're rooting for you, man. And we want to stay in touch with you as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, CJ.
All right. Have a nice day, guys.
All right. Joining the show, we have Murray State defensive back Marquez Sanford. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, it's going fine. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're excited to talk to you. And just to start this off, we're just curious, how old were you when you started playing football, and how did you get into the game?
I think I was 6 years old, and I have older brothers. I have 7 older brothers, and they all play football, so it's kind of like a family line.
I love that. That's awesome. Growing up, was there a favorite NFL player you might have had or looked up to?
I'll say Michael Vick. Yeah, he was most definitely. If you're from Georgia, Michael Vick your favorite player when you was a kid.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was definitely a fun player to watch, and a superstar for sure. But when it came time for you to play in college, obviously you played football growing up and through high school, and then you decide where to play in college. You ended up choosing Murray State. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
When I came on my visit, I knew a player because he played with me in high school. He was here. And I came on a visit. It just felt like family, and everybody was cool and stuff. And the coaches was like telling me how I can maybe a key impact my freshman year and things like that. So everything was just sounding great to me. So that's kind of the reason why I chose here.
Yeah, of course. And from the moment you got there and on, at Murray State, what was your favorite moment, or if there was a play or a game that really stuck out to you? What was that?
I'll say my senior year that just passed. We came back from SEMO like 31-0. So that was like, if you look at it was like 1% chance. So like that was very awesome to be able to come back from that deficit.
Yeah, for sure. And, you played against a lot of tough competition during your college career and a lot of really talented guys. Is there any one guy who stands out to you as being the toughest guy that you went up against in college?
I'll say Corey Davis, my freshman year. We played Western Michigan. I was like 160 pounds. He's probably like 215. So like it was very, it was a very big difference. But I hold my weight, and he had a great game also. But it was a great experience just going against a guy like that who's in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a top 5 pick. That doesn't happen every day. So that's pretty awesome. How would you say, your pro day went? Obviously, we're talking a little bit about your career at Murray State and everything, but now the draft process rolls around. How was your pro day?
My pro day went awesome. I did great. Obviously, I wanted to run faster in the 40, but I mean, it still was a great time. But overall, I think I had a great day. The scouts said I had a great day also, so it was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great to hear. And, I'm just curious, there might not even be an answer to this question, but is there any one player who you've modeled your game after or tried to incorporate elements of their game into your own?
I like trying to model my game after Marcus Peters, Talib, and Jalen Ramsey, and a little bit of Patrick Peterson. So I kind of pick my stuff up from a lot of players. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Just kind of take a little bit from each game, and that way, I mean, you're not a cookie cutter. You're just kind of, I like that. I'll add that to my repertoire, but nothing like copycat or anything like that. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
What do you feel? As a defensive back, what do you feel you bring to the table that no other DB in this draft does?
I think IQ. I know me personally. I see things before it happens, so like it helps me. Because I know I have the athletic part, but the physically and mental part of the game is very important. So, like, I just see it before it happens, and that just plays a huge role in the way I play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the mental aspect of football is something that's not talked about enough. And, you definitely have to have a high IQ and a high football IQ to succeed. But do you, consider that to be your biggest strength, as a player, or is there something else in your mind that you consider to be your biggest strength?
I would say confidence. I get on the field. I'm not afraid to go against nobody. So I think that way helps me overcome anything on the field. Like if as a DB, you're going to lose battles and you're going to win battles. So you got to have a lot of confidence in order to get back up there and go at it again. So I think I bring that to the table for me personally. Yeah,
it's definitely something really well coveted to bring to the table, of course. But, as far as, when you're talking about your game at the next level, there's certain things that you do at the college level that you could get away with in general, but then at the NFL level, you have to clean up. Is there anything in particular in your game that you're really looking to, improve on?
This offseason, I've been working on rerouting guys at the line. I'm trying to get better with that and my footwork. That's what I'm really working on right now because that's what I'm going to need. Guys are faster and stronger in the NFL. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this next question is just kind of a fun question that we like to ask defensive backs just to kind of, see what your answer is. But what wide receiver would you most want to cover in the NFL?
I'll say Julio Jones. Most definitely Julio Jones.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad pick. We do get that quite a lot when you're talking about DBs wanting to cover a specific receiver. So I definitely like that pick. As far as, the NFL, we like to ask multiple fun questions. So kind of doubling it up here, which quarterback do you most want to pick off in the NFL?
Oh, most definitely Tom Brady. Easy, just Tom Brady.
That's a very popular answer.
Most definitely. I know it
is. Yeah, but rightfully so, because it doesn't happen very often that he gets picked up and he's picked off, and he's obviously one of the candidates for greatest of all time. So yeah, definitely a good answer on that one. And we are a Los Angeles Rams based podcast, so we ask every prospect who comes on our show, have you met or talked to the Los Angeles Rams yet?
I haven't. I don't recall meeting with the Rams at all.
I gotcha. Well, I know that Jake and we've watched some film on you and looked into you, and we are, fans of you and of your game. So we're going to be fans no matter where you go and follow your career because we think you're a beast, and we can't wait to see what you do in the NFL. But just to, wrap it up, in your own words, who is Marquez Sanford as a player and who is he as a person?
I'll say as a player, I'm a producer, and as a person, I'm just a natural-born leader. I just bring that to the table in life, leadership. So, yeah, that's who I'm at.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on. It was fun talking with you, and Murray State, man, putting yourself out there, and Drew. We had Drew Anderson on, your teammate as well. So, not to mention that basketball player that's about to go number 1 in the NBA draft, but but Murray State is really kicking it. So we wish you the best of luck. Let's stay in touch and stay healthy, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, joining us on the podcast, we have Arizona Christian wide receiver J.J. Johnson. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Bless. How you guys doing today?
We're good. We're so excited to talk to you. And just to start it off, we just kind of want to ask you, how did you get into the game of football?
Well, honestly, I just fell in love with it when I was very young, just watching. I grew up watching one of my favorite wide receivers, Chad Johnson, and just followed it from there, from middle school to high school, and continued in college.
That's awesome, man. And I guess it just kind of answers my next question. I was going to ask who your favorite NFL player was growing up, but it sounds to me like it'd be Chad Johnson.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, just because he plays with so much passion, and I felt like he had a true love for the game. Besides all the outside things that happen in football, I feel like he really loved the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as you mentioned, you played middle school, high school, and then into college, and you started your career off at Oregon and then transferred to De Anza Community College and then ended up at Arizona Christian. So talk to us a little bit about your journey and what your time spent at Arizona Christian was like.
Yeah, honestly, I started out at community college, then to the University of Oregon, the beautiful school they have there. And kind of just didn't get the opportunity that I was hoping for and prayed for, and ended up moving to California, Northern California, which is De Anza Community College, right there in San Jose. And I was fortunate enough to have the coaching staff take me in and just work with me. And after that, they opened the door at Arizona Christian. God was willing to just give me another chance at football and the game I love. So I just kept going from there. And Arizona Christian really stretched my faith, just because it's a smaller school. No one really knows about just the NAI level. But I just felt like it helped me grow as a person, and I needed to work overtime I wanted to go back to a Division I school, but unfortunately, I was unable to. So I worked overtime, stayed after practice, stayed before, weight room. That's up at 6 a.m. every day, and just really grew through that whole process and turned to a man. And I felt like it was time for me to pursue other things after the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I can appreciate that because I played soccer at Missouri Baptist University in St. Louis, which is NAIA. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah, the smaller setting, and no one really comes. So it is a blessing to be able to play. I can't take that for granted. So wherever the Lord wants me, I'm definitely gonna stay in that.
Yeah, of course, and you were, you've been mobile, like you just mentioned. You've kind of moved all over the place, but in that time, what would you say is your favorite memory, or just moment, while kind of living through all that?
I think it's funny. Me and my guy were talking about the other day when I was just looking for that offer at junior college. I traveled. I drove 3 hours to the University of Arizona for their junior college camp, and we slept in the car, and then we woke up in the morning. We competed in the camp, and I remember just catching a one-handed catch in front of the coaching staff, Theron H, and all the parents, and everyone just came up to me and asked me, when am I going to be committed to U of A, and when I'd be there. That was the hard testament of me, like my hard work paying off, and just like it was just so surreal because we'd slept in the car. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And just killing the camp, just being one of the best kids there. That was honestly one of my favorite moments, I could say.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like something you'll remember forever for sure, and something that was so special to you, and definitely a great moment for sure. But you played against a lot of tough competition during your college career. Is there any one guy who stands out to you as being the toughest guy that you went up against?
I would say he plays at Washington State right now. Oh, I forgot his name. He went to San Francisco City College. He's a really good receiver, and he's actually blind in one eye. So he was probably the best kid I've actually ever seen play. He's a receiver I forgot his name, but I remember him scoring like 3 touchdowns against us at junior college. That's kind of probably one of the best kids I've ever played against. There's a lot of kids at the JUCO level, but that was probably one of the best kids. I would get his name for you guys, but
no worries, man. I definitely hear you there. Just coming, I went to a community college, and at the time, Kevin White, the first round pick, Kevin White, he played against the community college football team that I was watching, and I just remember I think he scored like 11 touchdowns that game. He just.
That's a big guy, yeah.
So I totally know what you mean, man. I think it's funny, people like don't. It's like the JUCO route it's easily the most underrated. I just don't feel like people give it enough credit, and just guys like that, guys like yourself, and this guy that you said was blind in one eye. I mean, it's all pretty insane when you really think about it. But it goes to show you, just sometimes guys don't get the opportunity, and instead of just sitting there and hoping, some crazy miracle happens where, 5 guys on the depth chart all, land or whatever, then, it's kind of good to go out there and kind of take what's yours and get that opportunity yourself. So, I've always commended JUCO athletes for sure, being able to take that step and, get yourself out there. But, with that being said, I just want to know, obviously we talked about, Chad Johnson. Would you say that that's who you really modeled your game after, or are there other receivers that come to mind?
No, I just feel like that's a funny question. I feel like I take just bits and pieces from everyone's game. I don't want to try to model my game after someone else, but just to be myself. But I would say, definitely with the speed stop, like Chad Johnson. If you ever watch his game, his old highlights, he was able to just stop on a dime and get in out of cuts. So I definitely try to take that from his game. The NFL, it's such short time for error because everyone's so fast. So if you're able to just get out of your routes quick and fast like he was, then you'll definitely be able to play at the next level. And I definitely took that from him.
Yeah, and in your opinion, what do you bring to the table that no other wide receiver in this draft brings?
I think just because I played at a smaller college, my peak, I haven't scratched the surface of my potential, because I haven't played against the best, or I haven't been coached by the best. So my ability to learn and just my potential to grow into another player, and being in a big program, I think that could be very vital. Also, just doing what I can, learning, going out there, trying something new. If they want me on special teams, go play special teams. If they want me to go still punt, I'd be able to do that. I'm just open to learning. I just want to be a sponge and just get advice from the coaches in every area.
Yeah, no, I love that. That exactly. You want to be a sponge. You want to soak in all of that. Learn all that information and everything. But, JJ, I want to ask you, what is your biggest strength as a player?
Oh, I love to get after it. Like, I love to get up and grind. It's a pain, but I love to hit the weights. I can hit the weights every day if I wanted to. I love to stay after, get more work in, and just fine tune those things that I'm missing. So definitely, I would say my strength is just getting after it every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the draft approaches, what are you most looking to improve on?
Just to improve on skill set wise, I would say just tracking the ball. I definitely need to work with it. I was working with Arizona State's quarterback Dylan Sterling Cole about a week ago, and just tracking the ball. He's got a big arms, 6'4", 230 kid, so he literally airs it out like 40, 50 yards for me, and just has me track it. So I'm just gonna be working on that until I get the opportunity.
Yeah, and at the next level, who would you most want to catch a touchdown pass from?
I would say Jared Goff.
Love
Goff.
it.
Yeah, that's the man in LA. So
for sure. Yeah, we definitely like that answer. And speaking of the Rams, we ask every prospect that comes on our show, because we are a Rams-based podcast. Have you talked to or met with the Los Angeles Rams?
No, not yet. But I'm hoping my agent can definitely get me in for a mini camp tryout, with the possibility of me definitely trying out with the rookie mini camp. I'm definitely praying for that. You guys pray for me too, please.
We'll do, man. We'll do. And I mean, just to kind of add some context to that, the rookie minicamp is awesome because, they've brought guys on. Like I talked to, I don't know if you are familiar with them, but Shakir Ryan came on the podcast, and he didn't end up making like the Rams 53-man roster, but he went on with the Washington Redskins, and he's somebody they brought in in minicamp. He went to Northeastern. I'd never even heard of the school, and it was like Northeastern State.
It's in Louisiana,
right?
Yeah, in Louisiana.
Yeah. So he was one of those mini camp guys where I remember him telling his story. He's just like, yeah, I got a call, and they wanted me to come, and he's like, I don't even know how they got my information and all that, but he went to the mini camp, and he really killed it and should have made the team. He great returner, and so I say that because just because it's a mini camp or a tryout or whatever you want to call it, the Rams are always open for those. I mean, just look at the teams like the New England Patriots that are built through UDFAs and all sorts of guys like that. So I'd just say this. I mean, no matter what, I think you have the absolute right mindset. I love that you immediately you're like, I'd love to get in for a mini camp, and I think that's really big. You're looking at the next steps and everything, and we'd love to see you in Horns, obviously. But no matter where you go, we're definitely going to be fans of you, and we'll be praying for you.
Perfect. Honestly, I appreciate you guys. Just not for me, but getting the other guys' interviews as well, getting their name out there. I appreciate all the love. Seriously.
Yeah, of course. We love to do it, and we love getting to talk to you guys and getting to know you. And it's a privilege for us, probably more than it is, for you guys, because we really enjoy it, and we love making these friendships and these connections. And we can't wait to see what you and everyone else does at the next level. And just to wrap it up, in your own words, who is JJ Johnson as a player, and who is he as a person?
I would say just persistent and undeniable. Definitely, very persistent.
Hey, love it, man. That's how you have to be. I know, right before this interview, you were getting off a workout. It's fairly late here, so nice job. Obviously, staying busy, and we'll be fans. Like we said, good luck with everything, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, sir. God bless. You guys enjoy your night, all right?
Yep, you too, JJ.